versus you're wearing a 3-3-14 teams hat over that new hair that you debuted?
All right. I'm already having a morning. I don't need anything put on top of this morning that I'm having.
Okay, all right. I'll stay away from it. I was very excited to see your hair. Your hair looked unbelievable on Sunday. I was very excited. And then I just learned of the record of your team.
I made my entire breakfast this morning, and I was extremely excited to eat it. As I carried it from the counter to the table, I caught the edge of the counter, and my entire breakfast ended on the floor. So that's where I'm at. So I don't need any shit from anybody. I've already got enough on my plate.
Okay, well, off your plate.
Because it's on the floor.
Oh, Jage, we're sorry to hear that, dude. It's Super Football weekend.
Got a new coach for him, don't you?
Yeah, well, good call. Hey, I'm sorry about the eggs because I've heard about the way you guys all eat over there at the Watt family. That was like an entire thing.
Yeah.
It takes a long time to all the, you know, I mean, he's doing that. It's a long process. So we apologize that happened. You weren't able to get the proper protein to start your day you need for JJ Watt. I did learn of Burnley's record, okay? I didn't like it. I didn't like that it was shown.
I don't like it either.
Well, we're going to fix it, though. Just like we're going to get more eggs, more chickens, getting popping those things out. I don't like that this was shown right to my eyeballs. 3-3-14, I believe, is what your team's record is, even though it's not on that particular graphic right there. 3-3-19, sorry, Jesus.
Big match today.
Okay, so if you're thinking about a new coach, though, I got a guy. Gumpy, what happened to this dude? He was the Columbus Crew coach. Then he goes over to Scotland to coach Celtic. Is this not accurate? We got an MLS coach that got called over, okay, to go coach elsewhere. What happens, Gumpy?
He's the MLS coach of the year. He goes to Celtic. After 33 days, he gets canned, loses 6 out of 8 matches. He is now unemployed.
It's not good for
That's the business. Tough business.
That was the sell? That's the new coach?
He's available.
MLS coach of the year, 2024, I said. That's a tough job in Scotland, dude.
What the hell?
You won 2 out.
I miss company, man.
2 out of 8. He won 2 out of 8. They won 3 out of 25.
Tough
28.
Barnes over there.
Remember, look at the odds.
I was expecting something wildly different when I heard that over there. But, we maybe got a guy for Burnley. I was expecting, it was like the heir apparent to Pele. Not some guy who was the MLS coach of the year and then got the call up to the big leagues, and then they found out quick, this guy sucks, and fired him. And you want JJ to hire that guy at Burnley?
2 wins in 8 games. They'd be dying for that right now at Burnley. Okay, please. And we need an MLS guy to represent over there. Can't be getting fired in 30 days.
Doesn't sound like he's the right one.
Yeah, he's the coach of the year.
Where's the soccer coach pool?
All right.
Hire Landon Donovan.
Find the pool, because
Lando's
Where's Lando?
Am I missing something here? Did Connor just get off a plane from Venezuela?
Dude,
whoa,
what the hell are you talking about? You of all people.
Tough morning. Don't bring us down.
You should know of all people. I mean, you know what this is? This is a Nike Classic Tech, okay? First of all, how many times did you walk into a game in a jumpsuit? Okay, that's what I'm doing. Yeah. I'm ready for the weekend, brother. I got a huge playoff game this weekend, man.
Oh, okay. All right. You're oiled up. You're ready to roll.
I'm not. I wouldn't go that far. Not yet. That's more of a game day thing. But I mean,
especially if it's cold.
Yeah, if it's cold out, and it's going to be cold in New England. Hope Herbert's ready.
Get his Nike Tech ready.
Yeah. You better have a couple classic Nike Tech sport things from the playoffs.
Yeah, speaking of special teams, they did a great job getting you suited up there.
Geez, a lot of special forces out here working in our favor, okay? And that's good news, especially in this football world that we're talking about. Let's go to the fact that you're giving inside information to the Texans' opponents. When you call Texans games, they are undefeated. 2 of them are against the Indianapolis Colts. Most recently, this one that just happened. Don't love it at all. Everybody's worried about Tom Brady. The other 3rd member of the Bull Ring of Honor potentially just, infiltrating. And I'm sure Shane, big fan. Shane, younger guy, probably loves Jage. Let me tell you everything we're going to do. Now, couldn't stop Riley Leonard for a bit. But
didn't know Riley Leonard was going to be going bombs over Baghdad over the top of the defense all day long.
Just more. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
Sports outcast.
Completely not even intentional, but it worked out very well.
Yeah, I thought you were just doing all international incidents and stuff like that, things that are going on around the world. But Riley Leonard is a guy, and on the flip side, this Houston Texans team giving up like this to Riley Leonard a week before playoffs. have you a little bit worried? What are your thoughts kind of going in for this Houston Texans team, who I think, obviously with that defense, is going to be able to win any game? If C.J. Stroud gets loose, they can win it. Houston Texans could win it all. That is a very, very real statement. How do you feel after watching them so much this year, and how do you feel coming out of the last game?
Yeah, the last game was a weird one. I mean, obviously we were on the call there, and the vibe was just strange because Jacksonville jumped out to a big lead early, and the Texans pulled their starters at halftime, and like even going into the game. I mean, yes, everybody said all the right things, but you kind of knew, and you could sense it just around, even in the stadium, the fans and everything. Like, yeah, we want to win this game, but we also want to get to the playoffs healthy, and we want to make sure that once we're in the playoffs, everybody is ready. And so it was just a strange thing. Now, give credit to the Colts. Riley Leonard comes out on his first third down, deep to Alec Pierce. There's a little bust in the coverage there on the back end. They'll have Kamari Lassiter back at corner. So when you look at the AFC, I mean, this year is, as everybody said, more than ever feels like the most wide open it's been. The Texans defense, without a doubt, can stop anybody. It's going to come down to their ability to put up points on the other end that is going to determine how far they actually go.
The Houston Texans defense brings the boo birds to your stadium. That is what they do. Your team fans normally going to be booing your offense because the Houston Texans don't give up anything. That's why when I see Riley Leonard do what he did to them, I'm like, 10 years, $500 million. Yep. Let's see if we can do that going forward. We're running it back. Obviously, you know that. But that is what we expect from the Texans defense. C.J. Stroud, we assume he's going to play his best ball in the biggest moments. That's kind of how I view C.J.
I have a question first before we move to this next game. Is there, obviously you guys are in Indianapolis, Colts territory. Has there been any thoughts or discussions or questions after watching Riley Leonard play about what if?
Whenever we go back in time. So he had a hurt knee, remember, that first week he had a hurt knee whenever we put Phil in. Now, granted, does he get healthy and then we go roll with him that next one after watching him spin it and be able to move? Remember, Jage, this guy, actual hooper, true hooper in high school. Mm-hmm. His size, incredibly athletic. We never said this publicly because we were big fans of the way he operated and how he was as a human and a teammate and everything like that. But he couldn't throw. He was a bad thrower. I mean, he was a bad thrower. I was third-string quarterback in the NFL for numerous years of my career. Have a couple throws on my belt, not as good as Rigoberto Sanchez this past weekend. There was no reason for you to bring up that other play in real time while I'm watching that game at home. But, like, having a chance to kind of, like, watch practices, NFL practices, with how many different quarterbacks come through and what NFL quarterbacks look like when they're throwing the ball, it's hard to take serious somebody that misses a lot of throws. And Riley Leonard is just missing all of these throws. So I was like, maybe Riley Leonard would be a good tight end because of how athletic he was. So I just assumed he was ass with his arm. Then he comes out and he starts layering throws. Yeah. He's spinning on. I'm like, obviously he's an incredibly athletic dude. He's clearly worked on this, and good for Shane Steichen and the quarterback coach for developing him. But yeah, I didn't expect anything before seeing it, Jage. I genuinely didn't. And then I started asking the same question you were asking. It's like, well, we had this guy the whole time? How long's he been like this? You know, that's the next question.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, obviously the first game he wasn't available anyway, and Phillip came in and did what I don't think that O'Reilly might have been able to do against the Seahawks defense, having to read all those disguises, coverages, everything. Phillip gave him an unbelievable shot, and it was really cool for us to talk to Phillip this week and just hear his whole experience and perspective, the fact that they live a mile apart in Alabama and that he hosted a mini camp for Riley and the Notre Dame receivers 2 years ago. Like, it's just, the story goes crazier and crazier the deeper you get into it. But Riley's movement in the pocket, the way that he was able to shuffle around, set his feet, feather throws in, fill some in, and also run the ball. And they didn't even do that much because they were protecting against having to put in their backup who just arrived on Monday. So you add in a zone read layer to that game, you add in a little more run game. There's no question there's something to work with there. Some of those throws were impressive. I mean, unfortunately, Pittman dropped 2 of them for him right in his hands. So it's like, he played a good game. It was enjoyable to watch, and I think there's, at minimum, if Daniel Jones is the guy next year for them, and he does need a little extra time, you are more than happy to put Riley Leonard out there.
And it would suck for Daniel Jones if he was to re-sign with us and end up being Riley's backup, but I think we in Indy would be cool with that. Hey, if Riley
gets in... You have to sign Pierce. Can you sign Pierce?
Pierce, I think Jonathan Taylor's going to want money too. You know,
Pierce ain't signing unless Danny Dimes is the guy.
He came out and said that certainly is a part of the entire process, which I respect him doing that. People are going to want Pierce on their team, though. I saw a lot of Colts fans saying Pierce needs to shut it. It's like, we want him back.
He's gonna get
We would like
very good. Very good player.
Good.
Also, his ejection, in my opinion, I get it. I understand the rules, but man, that ejection we gotta figure that out.
These refs
appreciate you in there, JJ.
These refs have gotten worse, and I appreciate you calling it out. Now, I do fear that they are going to keep putting you on Houston Texans Colts games because you do it, but I appreciate you doing it. Hey,
I was shooting it straight, dude. I mean,
you have to, James, for the good of ball.
It was such yeah, you throw the flag, that's fine, but that doesn't have to be an ejection. Are you kidding me? Right there, if you showed that video to somebody and said somebody got ejected from this play, they'd be like, all right, where's the rest of the video? What happened? That's what got him ejected?
Yeah,
come on.
Listen, I don't like it at all. I appreciate you speaking up for it in there because there's some commentators that won't tell the ref analyst, hey, shut it. How about that? And Steratore, I appreciate how he operates. We would like Steratore to speak for everybody. Western PA, Pittsburgh guy, Paisan, knows it.
Big Pitt guy.
Yeah, certainly. Pittsburgh.
He calls me babe all the time. It cracks me every time. I love it. He's such an old school dude. All right, babe. Great call, babe. Thank you, Gene. That just gives me some confidence.
Yeah, Paisan too. Give him a grazie one time. And it's Pittsburgh.
As opposed to?
You said he's a big Pitt guy.
Oh, yeah. I do that all the time. I didn't realize that was such a touchy subject over there. I used to always just call it Pitt and say, how's it going out in Pitt? I did not realize that they were so sensitive to it.
It's not sensitive. It's just the reality of what it actually is.
It's the backside you nickname. It's
I mean, there's a lot of cities and places in the world that, some people, yeah, exactly. So sensitive would be the word.
No, sensitive would just be understanding that it's different there. It's different there. Okay.
Can I? Because I also got yelled at for saying the Berg. I like the Berg.
You say Berg.
Like the Berg.
You can say the Berg.
I said the Berg, and people were like, "It's not the Berg." Nobody calls it the Berg. I'm like, I don't know. It's pretty cool.
That's true. We don't, but I think you saying the Berg is cool. Yeah.
All right. So the Berg is fine, but Pitt is not. Why? Because it's the university.
Can you use it in a sentence? Can you use the Berg in a sentence?
That's a good call, actually.
I thoroughly enjoy all the time I spend in the Berg, and it is significantly hillier and more. I don't know. It's much different than I thought. You could.
How many sentences?
You could die on the roads in the winter.
So you'd have to.
Is there a comma in there somewhere?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Correctly, you'd have to say, I enjoy going down to Berg. It's got a lot of hills and stuff.
Yeah, da Berg.
So did you drop the? Oh, okay. So it's da Berg.
Da Berg.
Down to Berg.
Da Berg.
Yeah, like da Bears.
Da Bears. Da Berg.
They put it down before.
Okay.
Yeah, in down and in that if you want to toss it on the back. But Pitt is the University of Pittsburgh. Okay, let's go Mountaineers. And Pittsburgh is the city. Not everybody that is from Pittsburgh goes to Pitt. Pitt kind of took that.
Right.
They did great branding with it, by the way. They just took the first four. I mean, that was a good move. But
genius.
They're smart. They're smart. That's a very smart school. I think that's a good thing. But, you got Duquesne Dukes in Pittsburgh. You certainly got a lot of people that don't go to college in Pittsburgh, so not everybody wants to be associated with Pitt.
Carnegie.
Got it. Da Berg. Da Berg.
There it is.
Wow.
Berg.
What a weapon you are. All right, let's talk ball. D-Bud has a question for you, Jay.
Yeah, JJ, today's NFL, obviously it's always conversation around the quarterback, and a lot of people want the offensive savant. What are you looking for in a head coach right now if you're hiring, especially in this cycle in particular?
I personally, everybody has different opinions on this. I personally like a head coach to be a CEO type, not the coordinator calling plays. Defense went on to become the number one. Texans went on this 9-win streak. So I like it like that. That's me personally.
You can always help, You can always help on the defensive side. But if somebody's spending their entire existence focusing on something, there's a chance they're going to be a little bit better at it or more in tune with it or more dialed in on it. Now, on that note, McDonald's calling it out there in Seattle.
Yep.
Right.
They're number 2 or number 1 in every other category other than Houston. Now, how many years does that last? D'Amico's obviously not in his first year, second year as a head coach like McDonald is in his first couple of years. Will that be on forever? It's just so much
Another
shit.
Counterpoint to my own argument, as I'm just debating myself for no reason. Liam Cohen this year was telling us a story about how early in the season he tried to spend a lot of time with the defense because he knew the bias he had towards offense. And he was like, I need to go over and make sure I'm a head coach, not just an offensive coach. And then he said after a few weeks it wasn't working that well, and he was like, no, I just need to focus on the offense and let my defensive guys handle the defense. So I do think it can work if you have full, complete trust in your defense. Like, so when I was in Houston, we had Gary Kubiak as a head coach who also ran the offense, and we had Wade Phillips on defense, who was basically a head coach of the defense. And we were essentially two units that were working at the same time, but Koob was the head coach of it all, but we had two head coaches essentially. It was a really cool setup. And if you can do that, I think that's very effective.
Yeah, especially if there's respect for each other. What is that? The Bears back in the day, they hated each other.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Offense and
Buddy.
defense hate each other. It's like, Bud Ryan. It's like literally two different teams, almost rivals of each other. And that defense, I think, won, big time, long term. It's really the only person we talk about is defense side of the ball. They shuffle it. I mean,
Super Bowl shuffle. Yeah, Jim McMahon, though, he was nice.
The fridge.
Man,
The fridge.
But they did have two units basically kind of in it all. If you can have respect for each other and keep it moving, great. But if one team starts doing a lot better than the other team, that starts getting bad. That's when things start getting bad. Let's talk about another coach that you played for. Go ahead, Connor.
Yeah, Jage, a guy that you played for as well, who play caller, Cliff Kingsbury. He is gone now from Washington. Him and Dan Quinn went into a room and maybe beat the shit out of each other. No one really knows yet, but he's no longer the coach for the Commanders. What was your experience with him? Do you think that is one of those situations where maybe he was, play caller and head coach and learned from that after going and, doing some time in Washington, and now as he gets back into the cycle might change it up a little bit? Or was he one of those guys that could do, two separate units, great on offense, and then just have someone run the defense? Because it feels like he's had a bunch of success as a head coach. Obviously, he had a bunch of success with, Jaden Daniels in his first year back in coaching after getting let go from Arizona. How do you feel he will do if he does get the opportunity to be a head coach somewhere?
Yeah, I think Cliff certainly learned a lot from his experience as a head coach, and then since then being in other roles and having time to reflect and grow. I love Cliff. He's one of my great friends, and I hope he gets another shot. I would imagine that he will, but we did have something similar. When I went to Arizona, a big part of it was also because Vance Joseph was a defensive coordinator there. And Vance Joseph is another guy who I believe will get a head coaching shot again at some point. He's running one of the best defenses in the league in Denver, and he is a guy who can manage the room extremely well, even in tough circumstances. So I would imagine he'll get one as well. But these guys that have been head coaches before, you would certainly think and hope that they've learned since then and wouldn't do it the exact same way the next time through. But this coaching pool in general is an interesting one. There is not necessarily that same, now that Harbaugh's in the mix certainly changes it. But like last year you had the Ben Johnson where it was basically, okay, it's a sweepstakes. That's number one. And now maybe Harbaugh slips right into that role. But it's an interesting pool this year. To me, it's not the same as always. And I always have a funny take on GMs. Like every single year, there's a whole lot more head coaches fired than there are GMs. Yet they're the ones choosing things, and it's just a
but we don't know the GMs, and the GMs only speak once a year or whatever, basically. So they kind of keep themselves guarded, and that's a smart play.
They sit very close to the owners, smartly.
Yeah, it does seem like there's some politicking. I'm putting your team together. It's an honor to do as such. We certainly have all seen it, I assume, is what we're speaking from personal experience. Middle of punt period, that's crazy. Right across the field like that right now, it's crazy. Why would, okay, that makes sense. So that's an interesting thing. So, just the whole thought, though, that if the GM and the coach aren't on the same page, definitely not going to work. Definitely not going to work. So we talked to Coach McCarthy a lot, and obviously his name is going to be up for a lot of jobs, as they should, if he wants them. He's told us basically, yes, he's going to try to get back into it. How has it gone for the entire process? We don't know. We are excited for him to get back in the ball. He loves it. But the amount of times him and every other coach that we've ever talked to has all talked about alignment.
So important.
I need alignment. I need alignment. I need alignment. Owner, GM, head coach, and hell, even quarterback. We all need to be rowing the exact same direction, not trying to undercut each other, because GM says, front office personnel, they got good players. That's a good roster. Coaches need to get better out of them. Coaches say, our roster sucks. These guys are terrible. We're ass. We didn't even get good guys for our scheme. Once that starts happening, then you find out who is politicking with the owner a little bit better, and then that person sticks around longer. They made a better case. And then all of a sudden, next head coach comes in. Well, you already know that this person's willing to bury this person. We've seen it already happen. So this new person that comes in, you're not going to bury whenever things get rough? Like, how does that kind of go? Then we saw teams start to interview coaches and GMs together. Remember that? Agencies were kind of like piecing GMs and head coaches together for interviews. Like, hey, these two will get along. if you were to hire him as a thing. And then now with the places that we're at, it's like a lot of GMs sticking around with head coaches coming in.
The winner of it all are these search firms.
Oh.
That is hands down the winner of it all. In a search firm, or two in some cases, and have them run the operation and take just a whole bunch of money to end up in the exact same spot you were going to end up in.
No, they're geniuses. Do they know ball? Maybe. We'll learn about it. Do you know our building? What you tell us, we know. Do you know our city? Yeah. Travel down there all the time. Do you think you will know what's best for the company that I own right now? Yeah. Plus, you get to pay me $20 million. What an honor. And these owners are like, yep. And then I need to move on.
I had the same conversation with AJ yesterday.
That's on me. I'm so sorry, AJ. Not all whites look the same, especially big athletic ones with Jay. I apologize for that one. I told Shefty, though, as soon as Shefty told me about the two down there in Atlanta, he said, some people, I said, call them cowards. And then Shefty was like, oh, what do you mean by that? Like Shefty got intrigued about it. I'm like, well, you're in a position to make a decision. Okay?
Yeah.
That is what you are there for. There's not a lot of people that is what you're getting paid for. That is why you are there, to make a decision. So whenever you opt out of taking any of the blame of a bad decision by hiring it outside, I just think you're not the person that's supposed to be in the place that you're in. That's just a problem.
Well, the problem is you're taking the heat when things go wrong anyway. So these search firms have been placed as a buffer. They're trying to be like this buffer where, hey, we hired the best people possible and they made the decision. Don't put it on me. They told me this was the best person to make. Yet when stuff goes wrong, people go straight to the owner and they say, hey, you got to fire this guy. You got to do this. You got to do that. You put us in this spot. Get us fixed. Well, if you're going to take the heat for it anyway, just make the decision and actually own it.
And I think you and I both agree, getting recommendations is not a bad idea. Like having other eyes, like Troy Aikman's getting brought in down there for the Dolphins. I think Dan Marino's down there as well, obviously. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Having search firms that don't have anybody related to ball in them just to do human HR search, whatever they're doing, I just think that is such a terrible decision, especially in the NFL. There's only 32 of these teams. There's only 32 people technically that are sitting in an actual position to make an actual decision. You get to do that. You don't have to do it.
But to be a devil's advocate, we've seen them make plenty terrible decisions.
But is it them?
Yeah. So why not try something new if you're the New York Jets? Why not go? And I don't mind the 33rd team. At least those people know ball. You got former coaches, former GMs, etc. Now going into just another firm, and obviously consultants do this in all these other, Fortune 500 companies. But if I done messed it up for 35 plus years, let me hire somebody else to try to make it.
But if these firms, are these firms only working for one team per year? Because if you're the firm doing multiple teams, who's getting choice 1A? Who's getting choice 1B? How are you selling this? Hey, I found the best one, but don't tell the other team that I also found the best one for them.
Well, on that note, we need to not kill this business, remember?
I'm not in the business. What do I give a shit about?
Not yet. We will be though. Jay.
I don't want to be in it. I don't need anybody calling me asking who to hire. You don't know the pool of candidates in the NFL.
Jade, you don't know what is possible in the future. What if I go to some owner and I say, "Hey, we'll be able to make good decisions. J.J. Watt's coming in. You pay me $25 million," and I go, "Jade, got $10 million for you to come in here and look at some candidates."
Okay. I'll write a list down real quick.
There you go.
Exactly. Yeah. So let's not bury the business as a whole. Yeah. We just like the right consultants to be consulted with, for the good of the business.
Apparently I'm the only analyst not consulting, I guess, on some team in the NFL.
Telling the refs it's bullshit, not consulting with ownership. Hey, we appreciate you in there for the people, Jay. Appreciate you in there for the people. Speaking of being in the booth, go ahead, Tash Schmidt.
Yeah, Jay, I don't want to just blow smoke up your bunghole, but because you dropped your breakfast this morning, I figured you could use a compliment. You were absolutely terrific in the booth this year. That is no bullshit. And I think we've seen a lot of these guys former players, former greats, the first year, they're kind of getting their feet wet still and maybe aren't as good as they could be. I think you came in like gangbusters with Ian and were incredible. What did you think of being back in the booth for your first year? Is there anything you maybe think you need to improve on? And just the experience as a whole, what did you enjoy most about it?
Yeah, I appreciate that very much. I do. Going into it, I truthfully didn't know what to think. I had no idea. I said my whole career I didn't want to do it. I didn't think I would enjoy it, and I was wrong. I absolutely loved it way more than I thought I would, and I had an incredible team to help me out. Everybody at CBS, but obviously Ian. For having a guy like Ian, who is a stellar play-by-play guy, but also has the wit and the humor and the personality to play off of. And we had such great chemistry. I'm so thankful for that. Evan down on the field. But then even beyond that, I mean, our production meetings and everybody, Ken Mack and everybody giving me the ability to grow and to learn. I have a weekly call every week with our producer, Ken, and I would go over the game with him and he would give me his notes, and we're trying to find the best way to make this thing great. I really love it, man. And in terms of what I want to work on going forward, I mean, I think it's always about balancing the amount of football logistics and knowledge and explanations with the fun, humor, laid back, like sitting on the couch talking ball. Because you can get too in depth with the football stuff, but you can also not give enough. And I think there's a perfect line that you're always trying to find as an analyst, where you're explaining why the things in the game are happening, but you're not talking down to the viewer. I never want the viewer to feel like this guy thinks he's smarter than me. I want you to feel like it's just we're hanging out, and I know this because I played the game, so I'm going to try and fill you in on it.
How much steak, how much sizzle? You know, that's kind of what we're trying to figure out and try to serve. I think you did a great job. And I think your angle there from defensive end, especially with the Myles Garrett story, which you were a part of a couple different times. Obviously, you had TJ with Houston. You obviously had a lot of things you're a part of. And there was a lot of opportunities for you to potentially be a biased journalist, and you didn't. You know, you remained good for ball. I think that is kind of how you viewed it. I don't know if you actually did view that, but we want to let you know you were good for ball the way you talked about it all. And we saw 2 Colts losses against Houston Texans with you on the call. I thought you were phenomenal, man. And you talk about the entertainment, the levity of it all, and trying to be a human. I think that is very important. Anybody can get up there and just talk about exactly what's going on and try to showcase how smart they are ball-wise.
You just saw it.
Yeah. A lot of conversation on the internet about that already happening. What? So, you know, that is the difference, you know, between just being somebody at home and being J.J. Watt, who is also somebody that people at home would view a friend, you know. I think you did great in the booth, though, nonetheless. You said 100 and what on those pizza rolls?
Well, I said I think 150 or 143 to 158 or something like that. But you have to remember, it was to pass out. It wasn't to throw up. It was to pass out. And so I do think I might need to raise it even higher.
What comes first?
To pass out is a lot.
Because you're going to puke and then keep eating, right? Yeah, you're going to puke and then keep eating. Are you a pizza roll guy? That's why this question came up, or?
Obviously, I've had many of them in my life. I don't know why the question came up. Somebody just asked. But everybody knows the problem with the pizza rolls is that you never wait for them to cool off, and then you just destroy the inside of your mouth, and you have to stop before you're actually done. So I would need all the corners cut off if we were doing it.
Yeah, the corner cut off is a big deal, but still doesn't matter because that sauce is coming whenever it happens. I love a good late night pizza roll. Used to, at least. I don't do it much anymore. I feel like that would certainly make the amount of dumps you're going to have to go through too for that 140.
Yeah, a lot of. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of wipes.
And we know how you freaks do it, don't we? Yeah.
I was a Hot Pocket guy. I was a ham and cheese Hot Pocket guy.
Ham and
That was my
cheese.
face.
Wow.
I was a ham and cheese Hot Pocket.
Pepperoni?
Nope.
It's a Philly steak one. That's pretty darn good.
I feel like cheesesteak. There's ketchup on that there. Yeah, you can really get cooked in that entirety. Did you do what did you eat as you ate everything as a kid, right? That's like kind of the Watt thing. We ate everything. We just eat.
We ate a lot of food. Yes, a lot of food.
Dad, firefighter,
All
chef
sorts
too,
of
right?
food. Yep. Went to the firehouse all the time. They'd be making up good food over there. Yeah, very fortunate. My parents, my dad was trying to bulk us up. There's no question. We had milkshakes every single night trying to put on some weight. He'd buy some of like whatever the cheapest form of steak was, he would buy those. Like, I don't know if it was sirloin or like the lowest grade. Steak, like actual, is that lower? The
Steakums? I think those ones that you're peeling out, sizzling. I think that would be the lowest form of steak if you had a
whatever protein, like he was like, I know you need protein, and we'd have like spaghetti, like plain spaghetti and everything. Yeah, just hammering food 24/7. Every time my friends came over, they knew there was going to be food.
It worked out, didn't it? Yeah. Look at you now. TJ's got the second most sacks in the history of NFL season.
Insane.
You're both going to be first ballot Hall of Famers. What are you, third most in a season?
I have no idea. And I'm the only one to ever have 20 plus twice.
Ooh, Let's see that, Myles Garrett.
I think he's like one of 5 to have 3 straight Defensive Player of the Years as well.
Ooh, let's get a milkshake every night for Kenzie, it sounds like. And,
only 3 players have 3 Defensive Player of the Years.
There you go. So not one of 5.
Who is that?
Aaron Donald,
One of 3.
JJ.
Aaron Donald and Lawrence Taylor.
Lawrence Taylor, yeah.
Pretty good company.
Which Lawrence Taylor?
Pretty good.
they're right up there. They're always looking right over my shoulder to remind you.
And just in case you need to remember, I actually did play football before I had cool haircuts.
Well, we can't see him now because you're wearing. I'm not going to say what I was just about to
It
say.
doesn't look good. It doesn't look good right now.
That's his old hair, and now let's flip to the new hair that debuted. Just ooh,
Yeah.
You look very superhero-ish with the new hair. A lot of people are saying maybe this guy's on local news, maybe he's selling insurance. What I'm saying is he's a dashing lad with a great haircut. And I'll tell you what, you look younger than ever out there. And I think it was the right move to celebrate the season with the new haircut. And it sucks that this happened this morning to you. We got footage from your ring cam inside of your house. Obviously, it's a nightmare situation for Jade.
That's incredibly accurate. Unbelievable.
Good-looking breakfast.
Let's go on food. This guy never stops eating.
I know.
That's kind of the Watt way.
The only thing that's not believable is how small that kitchen is. I bet his is huge, man.
Yeah, think about the island, how big the island is.
2 or 3
Look
of
at
them.
how close the island is to, like, the countertop over there. AI really messed it up.
Well, it's not an island. It's just an extension of your cabinetry, obviously, there. That's what that is. The island is behind us here. What color is your kitchen? White cabinets for sure?
No, navy blue.
Oh, Jage. Okay, do we have massive island in the middle? Is there like a hibachi? Is there a hibachi oven in the middle?
No, nothing is on the island besides a little wet sink. But no, the oven and everything is on a wall. The island is just an island for the most part.
Congratulations. You did it, man.
Hell yeah, Jage.
I've also realized that for anybody out there with islands, there's a certain size that the island is an inconvenience as opposed to a convenience, whereas you can't reach the middle. I got super long arms, 34 inches actually, and I can't reach the middle. So if there's no reason to have anything in the middle of your island.
J.J. Watt can't touch the middle of his island in his kitchen.
Wow.
That's when you know.
Shit.
Wow.
Good for you,
That's a good selling
Jage.
point.
Yep. That's like you with your planes. You know, you can't reach your arms out and touch both sides. That's how you know you're on the right size.
I'll have you
For
know,
Pat.
we didn't have Starlink on one of our flights.
It was.
And I'll tell you what.
It was tough.
It was tough to get there.
Yeah.
We did a peek and go.
How was the stop the New Year's? That was crazy. How'd it go?
It was good. Everything was good. A couple hours of sleep.
Oh yeah, that voice really secures it.
Oh, it was. It was a good time.
It was pretty good.
It was really, I mean,
It's kind of like our fake punt back with the Pagano.
There was no reason to bring that up. You said my name too, and I understand across the bottom of that.
You were on the field. You were on the field.
I was trying to get off it, but obviously I didn't sell it good enough because nobody bought it from New England, and they stayed right there.
Dude, how sick was that when they went with the punt team staying on the field on first down?
Genius. It's genius.
That was so good.
It is such a good idea. I'm not even going to say anything. But yes, it was a genius idea. It is absolutely. I'm happy everybody's response to it is that it's a genius idea, and I'm happy that it worked. And I'm happy somebody tried it because, boy, it's been sitting there this entire time. If we don't sub, then they can't sub, right? Immediately after the play? Yes. Throw a go ball in this thing. We should have too many men. The natural reaction for the defensive team after a punt is just to walk off the field. They're tired. The whole thing, like, they just ran a fake on us. This sucks. Walking off the field, head down. Defense, actual defense, jogging on field, pissed. Once again, you're talking about a lot of pissed off people not paying attention. It's like, first of all, there's going to be 15 people on the field. Second of all, is anybody going to be covering Gunner if we were to throw a go ball here? I don't think so. Genius stuff. I love it.
This was a Carly call. This was right from the top.
Could potentially be what saved them their job. Could potentially be what saved them their job. And I'll tell you what, if we're going to get more of this type of thinking, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. All right, Jage, we got a heart out, brother. We can't thank you enough for joining us. You're the man. Good luck to your Burnley squad. We need it.